Okay, g'day everybody. We're going to try and remove the rust from the inside of this fuel tank. This is the fuel tank that I've chosen for my XS1100 Café Racer project, but it has got quite a bit of rust in it. I got it out of a wrecking yard on the mainland and I scoured the country for one of these. They're difficult to find, and I bought it sight unseen and had it shipped down here to Tasmania, and I now have to deal with the rust. And there's quite a bit in there. In fact, there's some loose stuff still floating around, so I'll probably have quite a bit of a job on my hands here. So the method that I'm going to use, and there's several methods. You can use electrolysis. I've heard of blokes putting in nuts and bolts and just putting them in a clothes dryer and spinning them round and round, and that'll knock off, a lot of the loose, flaky stuff. But one method that I believe works very well, and I'm going to give it a crack, is using acid. And in this case it's apple cider vinegar. I've heard that apple cider vinegar is the best. Now I was fortunate enough to be able to get some from a cider manufacturer, and it's a very high concentrate, but just the normal apple cider vinegar that you can purchase commercially from the supermarket will do the job. Now once we'll fill it full of apple cider vinegar, let it soak for a couple of days, and then we're going to tip it all out along with all the rubbish and see what sort of a result we get. If my prediction is true and we end up with a relatively clean, rust-free interior, we'll then need to neutralise that so it doesn't flash rust. And to do that, use demineralised or distilled water mixed with carbonate of soda, and that should neutralise the surface and prevent it from flash rusting. Now if there's no pinholes in the tank and it's reasonably healthy and it doesn't leak, there really isn't any need to put a tank liner in there. However, if it is, then we'll need to do something about it. Okay, so let's have a bit of a poke around. I'll give you a look inside the tank and then we'll get started. Okay. Now I'm not quite sure how well this is going to come up on the camera, but that's pretty well toast in there. There's a lot of rust. Goes right back down into the tank. So it's going to be very interesting to see how well this works. So I've got the taps on. These taps I purchased brand new because the tank didn't come with any taps, any petcocks. So I purchased these out of America, actually, off eBay, and they're to be run with, so I can get rid of the octopus valve. I'm not going to run an octopus valve, and hopefully I don't crust them up too much. They've got a sock on there, but we'll fill it full, and we obviously need the taps on so it doesn't drain. But for a bit of added protection, I'm going to put this in a plastic container just to make sure that we don't have any spills or leaks that might ruin something. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, so I've placed the tank in a drum with the try and get it. It's a little bit small for the tank, unfortunately, which means that my ichrometer wasn't working that bloody well. But anyway, we'll try and fill it as best we can. We may not be able to get it right up into the top here, but I could maybe do a second application. I've got a emergency fuel tank cap that I can push down onto there and hopefully seal it all up. The taps on the bottom are closed. I've got my funnel and I've got my very large drum of apple cider vinegar. Okay, so let's see how we go. I have a disadvantage in that this is an enormous fuel tank. This is a 25 litre drum I've got here and I'm still going. Okay, so as you can see, we've now got a tank full of apple cider vinegar. You can already see bits of rust floating up at the top there. So we will leave this for a couple of days now. I'm going to have to shift the position of the tank to try and make sure that we get all up into these corners. And then we'll come back in a couple of days and tip it all out and see what we've got, and then we'll rinse it out with water very thoroughly, make sure we get all the gunk out, and then neutralise it. Alright, let's let it sit for a couple of days and we'll come back and have another look. Okay, so we're back. We've had this acid sitting in here for a few days now, and because of the angle of the tank inside this bund, I was unable to get it everywhere, so what I've done is I've had to keep shifting it, and we seem to have sprung a leak. So one of two things has happened here: either we've eaten right through and put a hole in the tank where there was some bad rust, or more than likely I've knocked the taps and the petcocks have come open and we've lost quite a bit of fluid. But I can see, you can't see in there because it's too dark, but I'll get the torch later. I can see that it seems to have made a difference. So I'm going to now tip all this crap out, and I'm going to hose and rinse the tank out, and I've got 2 litres of distilled water with some bicarb soda. You want about 3 tablespoons for the 2 litres, 1.5 in each bottle, and that'll stop it flash rusting. So we'll tip it out and have a look. Okay, I don't know what's happened here, but I do know one thing: these petcocks are cactus. That apple cider vinegar has really not treated them very well, and I paid good money for these, so I'm a little bit disappointed by that. But I'll deal with, yeah, they've just turned to chalk. Look at that. So I reckon that we've sprung a leak through them. I'm tipping, but I'm going to pull them off now, and there's a lesson to be learnt. If you're going to do this, make sure that your petcocks don't get into that apple cider vinegar, because it's powerful stuff, but it has pulled a heap of crap out of that tank. So I'm going to pull the petcocks off now and see what damage I've done. I might have to buy some new ones. A bit disappointed. Alright, let's proceed. So ultimately the question is, was it a success? And the answer is absolutely. Look at that. That tank is clean as. Remember how rusty and horrible and disgusting that was in there? Now it's really good. It needs a little bit more. There's a bit of flash rust coming back there, but I did neutralise it, but maybe not enough. Anyhow, the next thing I'm going to do, and not everyone's going to have this luxury, but I don't need this filler assembly. That's going to have a panel welded over it anyway, so I'm going to cut that out, and that'll give me a chance to really get in there and give this thing a bloody good rinse out, because there's still scaly bits of crap in there. So apple cider vinegar works brilliantly for removing bad rust from the inside of fuel tanks. What it also does brilliantly is eat the guts out of your petrol cocks, your petcocks, because that's what it did. It ate down through mine and then came out where the on-off valve is. So they're destroyed, and I'm going to have to go back on eBay, purchase some more. So I wouldn't mind betting if I cut this out, have a really good clean up in there, and then spray a heap of WD-40 and let it flash off, then I'm going to have a job on my hands, because I think it's done. All right, there you go. Give it a go yourself. Bloody impressed. Now, it's not the easiest thing to see, and there is still some rust down in there, and I've got to get that pipe out of there as well. But in all honesty, I'm It's a lot better than what I thought it would be. Paddle beater's going to be a bit annoyed at me for the way I cut that out of there, but I had to do it. That's, yeah, alright, so there you go.